At a drive-in cinema, people sit in their cars watching a movie. Among the series of cars, one door opened and a man vomited. Inside, his girlfriend handed him a tissue to clean his mouth with. She then asked if he thought he would be able to drive.
This fucker drives himself.
You think that's funny?
Give me a hot dog.
What are you doing?
Open.
You're making me uncomfortable.
Open it! Take it. All of it. That's it.
A bystander steps out of his car to intervene, but the man, Harlan, tells him to mind his own business. The man said that if he assaulted a woman, he would intervene and refused to leave. At this time, Harlan decided to get out of the car. Outside, Harlan quickly overpowered him. Things escalated quickly, and the two men started fighting. Without concern, he abandons his girlfriend and speeds away as the others call 911. Elsewhere, in a steel factory in the city, Russell is a worker who has spent the past 3 years laboring there almost every day. As usual, he worked in the factory until it was time to leave. He got in his car and started driving back home. On his way home, he noticed his younger brother's car parked outside a betting house for horse races. Curious and worried, Russell changed his route and went to the place. Inside, he found his brother, Rodney.
Come on, Six. Come on, Six. Man, what are you doing here?
What you doing here?
Huh? What, man? You gonna give me some shit?
Where you getting the money to bet with?
Borrowed it.
Outside, Russell confronted him about where the gambling money kept coming from. Rodney resisted at first, but after pressure, he admitted that he borrowed heavily from a loan shark named John and had already fallen deep into debt. Russell was upset, but his care for his brother outweighed his anger. He asked where he was going to get the money to pay the guy. Rodney did not know either. After a playful fight, Russell headed to his car, telling Rodney that he would be home after work tomorrow. Back home, Russell slept with his girlfriend Lena. When the alarm blared, he got up and turned it off before going back to Lena. He wanted to stay but couldn't because of work. The following day, Russell visited his sick father, who stayed with their uncle and Rodney. Rodney was a soldier awaiting deployment to Iraq. After greeting their Uncle Red, Russell went to their father. He asked how he was doing and touched his forehead to check on him. He then noticed he was hot and asked about it. His father brushed it off, saying it was probably because his hands were cold.
Hey, you wanna get a drink later?
Yeah. Where?
How's Lena?
Oh, she's good.
Will you give her a hug for me?
You bet, you dirty old bastard. I'll see you later.
You come back, huh?
Oh, yeah. I love you. Keep your hands warm.
Later, Russell heads to the bar and orders a drink. On a TV, he watches a campaign for Barack Obama. The bartender approaches and shares his fear about Obama losing. He then asked Russell if he wanted another drink, but Russell didn't want any. Russell mentioned that Rodney was supposed to meet him there half an hour ago.
You want another?
No, I'm good. Rodney was supposed to meet me here half hour ago. He's going back next month.
Oh, those poor sons of guns, they're holding them against their will. They're gonna...
You tell him I headed home to see Lena?
Sure.
All right. Is John in? I just, need to bend his ear.
Russell goes back to talk to John. As he prepared to confront John at the bar, he overheard an argument. Someone was pressuring John to get involved in drug distribution, and John refused. The man making the threats was Harlan. He was a bandit leader. When Harlan noticed Russell walking in without hesitation, he grew irritated. He asked about Russell's upbringing and why he barged in like that. Russell calmly asked if he had a problem with him, and Harlan simply told him that he had a problem with everyone and walked away.
What are they doing down here? Don't ask. What's up?
Russell handed over some money, explaining that he was there to cover part of Rodney's debt. The amount wasn't enough, but he promised to settle the rest after his next paycheck. John then told him that he hated he worked that much just to cover Rodney's debt. Rodney should be responsible for his actions. Even though he liked Rodney, he didn't like the way Russell was the one fixing his mistakes. Russell told John not to tell Rodney that he paid him. Before leaving, John offered him a drink as a token of appreciation. On the drive home, tragedy struck. Russell, still affected by the alcohol, collided with another vehicle. Russell approached the car with fear. Inside the crashed vehicle, he saw a child. Panicking, he tried to wake the child up, but there was no response. He opened the car and tried to nudge him. Soon, another vehicle approached, and Russell flagged it down. The crash killed a woman and her child, and Russell was held responsible. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison. During his time behind bars, he did what he used to do before, and Rodney also visited.
Just keep my head down. Studying shit, should have studied in high school.
I asked Lena to come down here. She said some bullshit about not wanting to see you like this.
Shit. And what about you? You still seeing the, woof?
Oh, man. I almost forgot about it. Thanks a lot.
Rodney told Russell that their father remained ill and was being cared for by their uncle. Rodney was about to leave for his first deployment in Iraq. Concerned, Russell urged his brother to look after himself, and they promised to stay in touch. Months passed. Russell kept his distance from prison gangs, wanting no part in criminal schemes, even if it meant missing chances at leniency. One day, as Russell was walking back to his cell, 2 inmates approached him. Russell tried to stay away from trouble, but the inmates kept asking why he was always quiet and blocked his way. With no other choice, Russell struck. After some time, Rodney came again. He brought heartbreaking news. Their father had died. He told him that their father tried to hang on until Russell got out, but he couldn't. Russell expressed relief because Rodney was home when it happened. He asked if Rodney put their father next to their mother, and Rodney confirmed. Russell then moved the subject to Rodney's trip to Iraq. Rodney admitted that it was hard. He struggled to put it into words, and Russell comforted him, telling him that whatever he did was something he was supposed to do. He then broke down in tears.
I love you, buddy.
I love you too, man.
The next day, Russell got a tattoo. He also attended church. Russell carried heavy guilt, knowing he'd been locked away while his father struggled, and eventually passed without him there. Still, his good conduct in prison earned him an early release. When he stepped out, Rodney was waiting to take him home. The 2 brothers hugged each other in happiness.
I think I'm running. On the run. I'm running.
Away! Go!
On the way, Russell looked at the surroundings, even waving at some people he knew. He then stopped by their father's grave, a visit he needed before anything else. He kneeled by the grave, finding the closure he had missed before. That night, Rodney tried to comfort Russell about Lena leaving him. He told him he was better off without her, but Russell didn't think so. Rodney reminded him that she left him without telling him and that she was now with another man named Wesley. Despite this, Russell thought what she did was smart, and he didn't hate her for it. She probably had her own reasons. He then turned the conversation to Rodney himself.
For a job?
Any luck?
Nope.
No?
I'll be back.
The next day, Russell looked at Lena from his car. Wesley dropped her off at her workplace. Standing there, he saw her interacting with the children. Back at work, Russell returned to the metal factory, continuing from where he had left it. Meanwhile, Rodney had taken a different path. He fought in underground matches to pay off the debts he still owed John.
Come on, man. Let's go. Go, soldier boy.
One fight turned ugly when Rodney kept beating his opponent after being insulted about their parents. people tried to pull him off his opponent and finally managed to do so. John, who had bet against him, lost money and was furious. Outside, he scolded him, but Rodney tried to explain that he couldn't control himself whenever he got into a fight. Everything just turned blurry. But John didn't buy this story. He told him to take responsibility for his actions and not to blame it on Iraq. He reminded him that he owed him a lot of money. Rodney knew that he wouldn't be able to pay John back with the thing that he was doing now. So John ordered him to find a better way quickly. Rodney suggested they go to Jersey to fight.
Yeah, let's go fight up in Jersey.
It's not for you.
Why? I heard they're big money.
Look, you can do a lot worse than living your life like your brother, believe me. We'll talk later.
Later that night, Rodney went back home wearing a hoodie to cover his face. Russell, sitting outside, asked where he was, and Rodney simply told him that he was with his friends. Realizing he was lying, Russell mentioned the bruises on Rodney's face, but Rodney brushed it off. Russell asked if he wanted to have a drink with him, but Rodney simply said the place looked nice before getting in. The next day, Russell found Rodney sleeping on the couch. He then silently covered him with a blanket so as not to wake him up. After this, he went to work and kept going on with his life. Later that night, Russell noticed bloodied cloth in the trash and realized Rodney's hands were torn from fighting. When Rodney came back, Russell asked to see his hands. Rodney tried to brush it off, but Russell persisted. He walked toward him and saw his hands himself. Rodney snatched his hands away from Russell, but Russell pulled out the bloodied cloth from his pocket. He asked if that was all he could do. He suggested that he work at the mill where he worked, but Rodney didn't want to.
It was good enough for me. It was good enough for our dad. Just don't be too proud to work for a living.
Rodney then started taking out his frustration on Russell. He mentioned what happened to him in Iraq and the things he had witnessed. What he witnessed had traumatized him. He gave his life for this country, but he didn't get anything in return. After saying this, Russell stormed out of the house. After this argument, Rodney visited John, asking to be taken to the Ramapo, a dangerous area ruled by bandits where high-stakes fights were held. John refused, saying that they were dangerous.
I need one last fight, John. Just give me one good fight, please.
No, you're gonna trust me when I tell you you don't want to set foot in those
Ah.
mountains. The deal is I've dealt with these guys for a long time, and when they don't get what they want, they get nasty.
Rodney believed that fighting in the Ramapo would solve everything. Rodney then told him that he was not going to leave unless he made the call. Finally, John relented, but he warned him that the matches there were brutal and unfair, often ending in death. Rodney refused to back down. With no choice, John reached out to the organizer. The organizer of these fights was Harlan. Meanwhile, Russell risked seeing Lena. She now worked as a teacher. He looked after her from a distance until she noticed him. The moment she saw him, she walked toward him and they started walking. She asked if he was staying at his father's place, and he told her he was trying to give it some life.
I went to his funeral.
I know.
Are you back at the mill?
Just can't get enough of it, you know?
After catching up, Russell expressed how much he missed her. He still loved her and even asked to reunite. He told her he couldn't keep going without her, but she gently turned him down. She explained her life had moved on and revealed she was expecting a child with her new partner. The news shattered Russell.
That's wonderful news. I'm real happy for you, Lena. Oh, wow, you're gonna be a hell of a mom.
Both of them cried. Lena hugged him and apologized. She then told him she had to leave and walked away, leaving him in misery. Russell kept crying even after she left. Carrying a flower, he stood by the road crying. Sometime later, Russell's uncle, Red, came to visit. He complimented Russell on how he looked, admiring that he was still fit. After pleasantries, Red told him he had something for his father and took a plant out of his car. He asked Russell if he wanted to go to the cemetery with him, and Russell agreed. When Red asked if Rodney was there and wanted to come, Russell didn't know where he was. Red also invited him on a hunting trip.
Rodney here? Does he want to come?
Nah, don't know where he is.
Well,
Go get us a buck.
After leaving the cemetery, the two men started driving to the forest to hunt. At the same time, John was driving Rodney to Harlan. When they reached the place they were going to hunt at, they both took out their weapons. Meanwhile, John and Rodney finally reached Harlan's place. Harlan sized him up with little interest, dismissing his chances. But Rodney's pride didn't want to let this slide. He confronted Harlan, asking what he was saying.
Am I gonna have to teach you a lesson?
No, he's good. He's good.
Let me hear you say it.
Teach me a lesson. Yeah, isn't that what we talked about?
Was this boy daft?
No.
Yeah. I like this one. He's tough.
John mentioned that Rodney had been on 4 tours in Iraq. Hearing this, Harlan asked why Rodney wanted to fight. Rodney simply told him that he needed the money. Harlan then told him to leave while he talked to John about the deal. But Rodney refused, saying that he had just talked about the deal. Angry, Harlan slapped Rodney. John quickly intervened and ordered Harlan to keep his hands off him. Harlan, mocking Rodney, told him that he was testing his reflex. John then told Rodney to step outside, and Rodney obeyed. Outside, Rodney angrily told John he should have killed Harlan, but John told him how dangerous Harlan actually was.
Am I supposed to be scared of him because he sucks on a lollipop?
Did you hear
All right,
me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Good. Now get your shit and let's get going. Come on, get ready.
Russell finally found his bait. He then raised his rifle at a deer, ready to shoot, but he hesitated and lowered it at the last moment, unable to take the shot. Meanwhile, Harlan came to where John and Rodney were and told them that the fight was about to start. After Harlan left, John approached Rodney and reminded him of what to do. At first, keep the fight on and then purposely lose. Back in the forest, Red shot a deer. Russell ran toward him and asked about the shot. Red told him that it was a clean shot right at the heart. If it were inches away, they would have been searching for it all night like last time. Then he asked if Russell had seen something, but Russell didn't see anything, so they started walking back to their car, dragging the deer with them. At the same time, John's fight began. In the ring, Rodney was battered relentlessly. At some point, Rodney got up, attacking his opponent. The expression on Harlan and John's faces started to change. But finally, Rodney's opponent started beating him without showing any mercy. John couldn't take what he was seeing, so he rushed in and pulled him out before the fight turned fatal. While John was checking on Rodney, Harlan approached. He wiped the blood off Rodney and started making fun of him. John interrupted and told him now they were even. But Harlan was expecting John to pay him. John reminded him that the fight was supposed to pay for everything. After a little thought, Harlan apologized, telling John he got confused. That night, John and Rodney set off to return home. Nervous about crossing the Ramapo, John secretly recorded their conversation in case anything happened. His fears proved right when a gang of bandits stopped them on the road. Their leader turned out to be Harlan himself. He ordered John out of the car, and when John refused, Harlan killed him on the spot. The ambush was more than a robbery. It was revenge for John's earlier refusal to join Harlan's drug operations. Harlan then had his men drag Rodney deep into the forest. Back at home, Russell stumbled upon a letter from his brother.
I'm sorry about the other day. I know you're looking out for me. And I think that I always will be. I can't explain how exactly. My head is just full of stuff, and I can't get it out.
Deep in the forest, Harlan stood in front of Rodney. Harlan ordered Rodney to turn around, but instead, Rodney insulted him. Harlan then fired his gun, killing Rodney. At the same time, Russell finished reading Rodney's letter. In the letter, Rodney promised that the fight would be his last, and that afterward he intended to settle down and work at the factory alongside him. The next morning, Wesley knocked on Russell's house. Wesley was a policeman. Russell braced for confrontation about the previous day's awkward encounter. He asked if he was there because he went to talk to Lena. Wesley confirmed he was aware of that, but that was not the reason he was there. Instead, Wesley invited him to the station. There, Russell learned John had been found dead on a roadside in the Ramapo. Rodney, who was last seen with him, remained missing. He played the recording that John had made.
Sleeping,
Turn off. I don't need to hear it again.
Police also had video evidence identifying Harlan as the killer, yet no one from the area would step forward or reveal his location. Getting information from them was nearly impossible. People who lived in those mountains were different. They had their own way of justice, and they didn't include outsiders. Even the local police who were sent couldn't get anything from them. And because of that, Wesley's hands were tied. Hearing this, Russell worriedly asked what was going to happen now and if they're not going to look for Rodney. Wesley corrected him, telling him that was not what he said, and what he meant was that they were having a difficult time. And on top of that, Wesley was having jurisdiction issues. This made Russell angry. He reminded him that John was clearly dead, but Rodney was out there. They should be looking for him. Wesley told him he had a procedure to follow, and this only fueled Russell's anger. He accused him of being afraid to go there or simply not caring about the life of his brother. Wesley tried to defend himself, but Russell, still bitter about losing Lana to him, mentioned Wesley was all over his business. In retaliation, Wesley brought up the time when Russell crashed his car and got into prison, accusing him of not being responsible enough to even be there for his wife.
I'm just trying to do my job, and I'm giving you my word.
It's done. Well,
Russell, come on.
You want me to show you out?
Outside, a man named Dan tried to calm him down. He told him that he would be there for him in any way he wanted him to be, and Russell asked for the address of Harlan DeGroat. Dan hesitated and told him he would try to find it. But Russell was not satisfied with this. He wanted a certain answer. Dan told him that it was better to leave it to the police because Harlan was a very bad person. But despite the warning, Russell was determined, so he told him to let him worry about that. Following this, the three men sat through John's papers. From their research, they learned that John owed a lot of money to Harlan. Dan knew they had a deal, but he didn't know it was this big. When Russell asked what the deal was, Dan explained it was a bare-knuckle deal. He didn't know much about the deal, but he thought Rodney went there to fight.
You'd be way better off letting the authorities deal with
you're
it.
not doing such a good job, Dan.
Frustrated with everything happening, Russell and Red discussed what to do. Together, they decided to take matters into their own hands and headed straight into the Ramapo. Once there, they began asking locals if anyone knew where to find Harlan. The locals in the Ramapo all claimed ignorance. Getting nowhere, Russell decided to change tactics. That night, he approached a gathering spot for bandits, posing as a buyer for illegal drugs. He approached and asked one of them for a candy. Suspicion fell on him immediately, with some thinking he was a cop. One of the dealers asked if he was a cop, but Russell laughed it off. Then he asked about the old man in the car, but Russell told him not to worry about it. The man then asked what he wanted, and Russell listed what he wanted. Following this, the man told him to follow him. Russell was taken deeper inside to collect the drugs. Red and Russell got inside the house and saw a lot of people passed out on the couch after taking drugs. He went upstairs to talk to whoever was in charge.
Just passing through.
I didn't ask where you were going. I asked you who you were.
No, I didn't ask who you were. We just want to get high and the money's green.
But if your money's green, that's pure glass.
The man urged him to light up the meth he gave him. Russell refused and proceeded to pay. While doing so, he casually pressed for Harlan's whereabouts. To his surprise, the place he had just entered turned out to be Harlan's own house. With this knowledge, Russell withdrew quickly, intent on planning his next move. Red wanted to move and took out his gun, but Russell stopped him. As they were about to leave, the man Russell had been talking to called them from behind and gave them the meth they had left behind. On the way back, however, a policeman stopped him and his uncle. He immediately recognized Russell. He introduced himself and told him that they were lucky he got there first because the locals would have killed him. Since they were likely to carry a weapon and Russell was an ex-con, he gave them a choice. He would arrest them now, or they would leave the state right now.
I'll only do Chief Barnes a favor once.
Am I making myself clear, gentlemen?
Yes, sir, you are.
All right, then I'll follow you out.
The following day, Russell looked at pictures of Rodney. Red approached and commented on how Rodney was always troubled, even as a kid, especially after their mom died. Russell walked out, but he could not shake the memory of him and Rodney from his head. It kept coming back to him. Later, Wesley came to see Russell with grim news. Rodney's body had been found buried in the forest. Hunter dogs dug him up. He expressed how sorry he was and proceeded to tell him when he would get the body. But Russell was no longer listening. Later that night, Wesley and Lena came to Russell's for dinner. Lena tried to reassure him and told him that the police would soon make their move against Harlan, but urged him not to take matters into his own hands. Their conversation was cut short when Wesley came to the kitchen. Wesley asked if they could put his relationship with Lena behind them and thanked him for dinner before leaving. The police raided Harlan's house, but the moment they reached there, Harlan and his men had already disappeared. Time went by, but he was never caught, and Russell's frustration grew. He went to church, but nothing was calming him down. Finally, he had enough, and he decided to take matters into his own hands. He went to John's old residence, searching for leads. Dan tried to stop him, but seeing his determination, he left him. Eventually, he uncovered Harlan's phone number. Using the number, Russell called Harlan and lured him into a trap, pretending he wanted to pay John's debts, and then continued the deal he had with John.
I'm willing to settle his debt, and we can keep this deal going.
How did you get my number?
Finally, Harlan arrived with one of his men. Russell stayed hidden as they entered. Inside, Harlan encountered Dent, who had ignored the warning to leave. Russell went to the door with his rifle and saw what was happening inside.
Maybe you might have some money for me.
For me?
Do you know where Petty keeps his money?
Oh, yeah, no, Petty.
Or you just tend to borrow from all the way back here?
No, I'm just...
That's a good trick, Dan.
Harlan started beating Den. Russell came from behind and struck, killing Harlan's companion. Harlan, however, turned on Den, killing him before fleeing. Russell chased him down and finally found him. The two clashed in a brutal fight. Russell gained the upper hand, shooting Harlan in the leg and forcing him to walk away. He revealed his identity as Rodney's older brother, the man whose death Harlan had caused. When Harlan tried to appeal for mercy, Wesley suddenly appeared, urging Russell to stop. He warned that killing Harlan would put Russell back in prison, but Russell's thirst for vengeance outweighed everything else. Without hesitation, he fired a final shot to Harlan's head. In the aftermath, Russell didn't get arrested. He sat in his house, consumed by the loss of his brother.